wet pallets. So we all know what they are, and we know that a lot of painters use them. Are they worth the investment? Let's talk about that. What's going on, guys? Vanilla Paints here, and today we're going to be talking about wet pallets. Why you should buy one. Is it worth the investment? Well, what I have in front of you, this is the Masterson Stay Wet pallet. I picked this up at my local Hobby Lobby. This was $12 US. It has a lid. When you open it, you see the pallet paper, and then underneath of it, you have the pallet sponge. Now, if you buy the same one that I did, this is going to come with 5 extra sheets of paper. It's important to note that before you use this pallet, make sure any paper that you put in, you soak in boiling hot water for at least 20 minutes. You want to allow the paper to absorb as much water as it can so that the sponge isn't overworking itself trying to keep your paints wet. So, is this worth it? Well, 3 pods of Citadel paint is $4.50 a pod, at least where I live. This is $12. 3 pods of paint can buy you 1 wet pallet. Or you can make a wet pallet on your own at your house. Get a sponge, get some Tupperware, and a waxed paper, something that won't break down as you rub the brush across it, but can still draw moisture. Now, when you think about, as we referenced, 3 pods of paint being the cost of this, have you ever mixed paint? And let's say it was red. Let's say you mixed a whole bunch of red paint, and then you get like halfway done with the model and you realize, I still have a whole lot of red paint here. I have nothing I can do to keep it, so I guess I just lost it. This is where the pallet comes in. With this having a lid, you're able to preserve the paint that you've mixed by simply placing the lid on top, moving it to the side, come back the next day, open it, you still have fresh red paint. This is something that will pay for itself in just a few days. This is a game changer. If you want to take your miniature painting or this hobby to the next level, this is what you're going to want. You have so much control when you're mixing your paint. You have endless opportunities. Let's say you mix some blue and you don't really care for it too much, and you're like, oh, I want to remix that. That's fine. Just remix it on the other side. You don't necessarily have to just waste the paint that you mixed before that, because you can just leave it in the palette, close it shut. You never know. That paint, you might get farther along on that model and realize, oh, I can use that right here. That's the beauty of a wet palette. It's going to allow that all of your paint is always usable at any time. And when you're thinning your paints, which everybody usually does, unless you're new to this hobby, in case you are new, please always thin your paints. It will make your models look way better. But when you're thinning your paints, sometimes when you're not using a wet palette, you'll still notice that after a little bit, no matter if you're painting nonstop, you get this film that forms right above your paint, and you start seeing that you're having to like poke through it to get paint. That will not happen with this. This item, again, will pay for itself in just days on the amount of money it's going to save you. So hopefully after discussing a wet palette, you have a better understanding of what it can do for you. I've been using my wet palette a little over a year now, and I can honestly say it's made me a better painter, and it saved me a ton of money. The possibilities are endless with a wet palette. Nothing can compare to what it can provide to you, and it will take you to the next level. Well worth the investment. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to thumbs up. If you have any questions, comment down below. I'll gladly answer them. If you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button. If you do, make sure you turn that little bell icon on as well. That way you know every time I post a video right when it goes up. Thanks again, and I'll catch everybody in the next video.